It appears that Meghan Markle is on the warpath once again, and this particular incident really all centres on a recent stint in New York. But as ever, what is it? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. A windy London today. Yes, I know I'm looking a bit windswept, aren't I? By the way, if you remember this, do you remember this picture? That's right, Tight Fit. The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Do you remember that #1? Not sure whether it went to #1 in your part of the world, but way back in the early 80s, 1981, it went to #1 in so many countries. And of course, that very fun video that went with it. Tight Fit, by the way, are still going strong, I have to tell you. They have a brand new #1 on their heritage chart. The reason why I mention this is because they're all of a certain age, right? And what I like about this is the fact that they're still going strong. Age is no barrier, and they're up there still doing it, creating wonderful pop music. If you get the chance, do take a listen. You can see the plot there now on your screen, but you know, there's no money involved, not associated with these people. I just love the fact that people still get up and do it. It's a passion, it's a drive, it's about what life's about, isn't it? Back as ever though to your breaking roll story of the day. This particular story as ever for me is fascinating because, you know, given the bad press that Harry and Meghan have received over the last few weeks, you would have thought, you know, they'd back off a bit. But as ever, it all really centres on it never really been their fault. And as ever, we have to say allegedly. What I find fascinating is, you know, when you look at the brand of Harry and Meghan, they've tried many different things as we've seen, you know. They've gone down the sort of charity route, they've gone down the caring route, you know, then they've gone down the kind of fighting route, particularly when they're lashing back out at things that they see as a perceived wrong against them. And as we saw recently with the Mandela speech for the United Nations in New York, Prince Harry certainly doesn't hold back on what he thinks is right and wrong. But it's that particular area, which really created a new anger from the Duchess of Sussex, otherwise known to her chums, and the few that are remaining at least anyway, as Meghan. And this really all centres upon the now infamous empty seats. Let me explain. Now, when they started to do this, you know, this was put out like it was the main speech, a great sort of thing that Harry and Meghan were doing. And, you know, I really wish them the best. I thought, well, there you go. They've climbed back up. They've got something pretty sensational. And more importantly, you know, the world was going to listen. Now, it must have been very difficult for Prince Harry when he turned up to look at, you know, it kind of looked like a British pantomime that hadn't sold out, you know, all of those empty seats. Never a good look. I'm a performer myself. When you look out in an auditorium and it's not full, you are counting those empty seats. So there's no way that he wouldn't have known that he wasn't a draw, wasn't a sellout. Now, according to the UN, it wasn't really that well publicised. Rubbish. This was, of course, put into the world's media. Everybody would have known about it. So what was the particular problem? And more importantly, why is Meghan angry? Well, apparently, you know, it's nothing to do with the fact that Prince Harry wasn't the #1 draw, and she wants answers, naturally so, because of course they'd made that big effort to come all the way from California to spend time in New York, and then when they arrive, there isn't the glory welcome, I guess, that they both anticipated. Now, if you take both sides, you can understand that. They schlepped all of those miles to do that. We're not quite sure if it was a paid gig or in fact, well, it will form part now of that Netflix show, which they're planning to put together, of course, as part of their come reality show, come documentary about how they fill their days. Going to be fascinating. But either way, I've been told by a very good source, as ever, allegedly, that Meghan wants answers. And this could have massive reverberations for the people working very closely with Meghan, because, you know, how are you going to back up the fact that sadly you weren't able to fill these seats? And more importantly, get the positive PR that they truly expected from this particular venture. As ever, when I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of a windy London.